Okay, so this isn't really witnessing, but how your life is a witness. We go to Fuddruckers a lot because we want to watch the Redskins games or the Caps games, and the manager there knows us, and he knows the Steedleys. So one of the last times we were there, after my parents left, he came up to us and he says, "What's the matter? What's the deal with you guys? You don't have a TV in your home? Is that why you're always coming to watch the Redskins and the Caps?" And we're like, "Yeah, we don't have a TV." And he says, "Is that with Bill's family too?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Is that something with your church?" And we're like, "Well, it's not a rule. Some people have it, but it's just kind of a suggestion because there's a lot of bad things you could see." And he goes, "Well, there's bad things here too." And we're like, "Well, we try to look away." And he's like, "My kids were watching too much TV. I wish I could be like that." So it was sort of a warning in a way because we got to make sure we're not looking because he's watching us. And it's also, it kind of impacted me that our lives are a testimony. He's noticing that we don't have a TV in our home.
Well, it's not exactly witnessing, GCC witnessing, but I started blabbing with this woman at the rec center at Clodmore. She was from Yorkshire, England, so it was easy to start talking to her because she had the accent. And we talked so much, I missed all of the rock climbing that my kids were doing. And we kept talking, and I never laid out the gospel to her, but I spoke as a Christian. And we talked about all kinds of things. Her husband's a general in the United States military, and she told me how her kids are. We started comparing public school, and we talked for a very long time. And she talked about how delightful it was that in the public school in England, they teach them all of the religions. And her daughter, came home and told her about all of the religions, and I told her how you cannot teach the Bible in our schools here, and she was really shocked about that. But my point is, I spoke as a Christian to her, and she was kind of worldly, but she was so receptive to it. And in the end, this rarely happens. I blab with a lot of people. And she was like, "Oh, it's been so lovely talking to you, and let's exchange phone numbers. Let's go get coffee." And I just felt like she was really open, after I'm talking all about the Lord to her, as if she is a Christian. And instead of closing up like some people do, or kind of trying to prove to me that I'm wrong about what I'm saying, she wanted more. She wants to go meet. She wants to be friends. And so I'm praying for her and planning to go to coffee with her and to continue just being who I am and try to keep planting seeds. I know there were so many seeds planted while I was speaking to her, and she wants more. So anyway, it wasn't a GCC experience, but I hope to make some kind of an impact with her.
Just a real quick one. I know last time that we gave testimonies, I talked about how at work I had put the gospel tracts on my desk, and that was just kind of one of my ways that I've been handing out gospel tracts. And so I was kind of wondering, now that it's been a couple months and I've been putting them out, there's been a few conversations. Some people have taken them, looked at them, some people have taken them. Been wondering if I'd get any resistance, just kind of wondering if that might come. So someone actually did come up to me and said, "Hey, you can't do that." And it was another employee. So I said, well, why not? He says, "Well, this is a workplace. You just can't have those." And I said, "Well, I think it's okay if I have them. I mean, I think proselytizing may be frowned upon, but just having these tracts here and giving them to people, I don't think there's anything wrong with that." It's like, oh, well, I guess you're right. So I've been kind of maybe not fearing, but maybe anticipating some resistance. And that's something that's going to come our way. If we're handing out tracts, people are going to disagree with it. But in a little way, I'm kind of looking forward to it, because I think that resistance is going to pave the way to maybe give out more, or for our message to go farther. So it was just, I guess, a continuation of my experience of having tracks at work and how it's going, and I hope to share more with you as things happen.
Something I thought I'd just share by way of, I guess, encouragement. Last time I was at a Crowley tour stop, well, first of all, something that Crowley just started doing this year was that on Sunday mornings, they're having a cowboy church service. They do it about an hour before the show starts, and it's a half hour and it's short. And in reality, I think the reason they're doing it is because they know that a lot of people don't come on Sunday because they have to go to church. So even though maybe it's a bit of a false motive, it's still something that it takes some bravery to introduce that. So I was kind of, first didn't know what to think, and I thought, well, it sure can't hurt. So what they do is they have just local preachers and local cowboy churches come in and have a half-hour service where they just sing a couple hymns. And the ones I've been to so far, it's just acoustic guitar and then a short sermon. And so far, what I've seen is that it's been not so much to try to make people feel good, but it's just been the gospel. And it's a different one every time, so it's all the local ones. And I thought it was interesting, on our way to the stop that Sunday morning, we were in the car driving there with a bunch of the staff members. And we were talking, the subject came up about the Cowboy Church and why we're doing it, whatever. And one lady from the back just made a comment and said, well, maybe I'll find God today. So I thought, it struck me as odd, thinking about, and I just dawned on me, is thinking about, well, I think a lot of times that there are people out there that think that, or they expect God to come find them. Not so much, I'm going to go out and look for him, but they think, well, if there's a God out there, he's going to come and find me. So I wanted just to encourage everybody that, yeah, you might go out there and you might meet some resistance, you might meet some people that are totally opposed to it, but you might also find that one person that are expecting God to visit them. So something that I thought, not everybody's against the idea, some people are waiting for it, so we can be that channel.
Right.